William Nylander. Louis Gross is the agent. Speaking of agents, Louis Gross, saw most recently with Johnny Gaudreau, isn't shy about saying, you know what? Maybe we'll keep him out the start of the season until we get what we want. How do you see this one ending up? Because here we are, 2 games left for the Toronto Maple Leafs, heading into the weekend, back-to-back Detroit Red Wings, and still no William Nylander.
Well, I know one thing. If I'm the GM, I'm not jumping off a cliff. I like William Nylander. He's a good player. I had his dad. But they got plenty of weapons. They can start without him if they have to. And Louis Gross had Johnny Gaudreau with us. It doesn't cost a player a dime to miss training camp. It costs him meal money. That's it. No salary. Louis Gross represented Johnny Gaudreau, who magically signed right when the regular season began, didn't lose a day's pay. That's where I see this going.
Yeah, it's 30 grand a day he's going to lose once he starts playing. I miss that meal money. Remember that envelope? Huh?
Big fat one for training
Big
camp.
fat one for I miss that. All of a sudden you look and it's $900. Jill used to say, "Don't you get meal money?" No, we don't. They don't give management meal money. Are you kidding? But
Why are you burying tin cans in the backyard, Doug? What's in those things?
anyway, you know what, Nylander, I'll be surprised if he's not signed, but very seldom in negotiations is there a $2 million a year gap. And that's what it seems to be. He wants Draisaitl money, is what people are surmising. And are the Leafs at 6.5? I don't know if they are. I keep hearing they're not.
Is it Draisaitl contract versus Nick Ehlers contract? Is that the way? I mean, that's the way it kind of
But I mean,
feels, but I'm not in there.
If you're sitting there as a GM and you're saying, Pasternak's contract, sorry, I'm not giving you a penny more than Pasternak. Mm-hmm. What did Pasternak get?
6.5? I want to say he's in the 6.
And I like Nylander, but I agree with Brian. I mean, they can go without him. Like I said yesterday, to get him on the first power play, they're going to have to pull the goalie.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, he's a heck of a player. Is he the guy that you move to get that bona fide top defenseman down the road?
And if he is, it's much easier to do if he's signed.
That's
so
right.
they got to have this fight.
Yeah.
They got to get him at the best number they can get him, even if their intention is to make it a sign and trade.
And I mean, I don't know that they would, but I mean, there's a market out there. There's a lot of teams. You know, I mention Anaheim with Corey Perry going down. Anaheim's a team that could really use Nylander right now. Mm-hmm. You know, but there's a ton of teams could use him.
Yeah.
You know,
he'd be a valuable asset. But again, I hate to use the baseball term of control. When you've got a guy who's signed and whose restricted free agent rights continue after that contract, which might not be the case here if it's long enough, but you've got control or a signed player has way more value than an unsigned player. And you look at the Erik Karlsson trade, you see that. Had he been signed for 5 years, it would have commanded a much higher price. But a variable asset that you might only have for a year, I think they need to have this fight. I think they need to get William Nylander at the best number they can. Then they need to see, either use him or see what you can get for him.
Do you have a number, both of you guys, do you have a number that you're both comfortable with and uncomfortable with for William Nylander? Like, at what point do you say, "Ooh, this is too much spice in the chili. I can't handle this"?
Well, for me, any of the numbers you're talking about are problematic for the Toronto Maple Leafs long term. With the contracts you've got to sign, everyone talks, and Doug's right, everyone talks about Matthews, everyone talks about Marner. They're going to be problematic contracts. Now, Kyle Dubas, who I think is a very credible person, he insists that he sees a way to sign this guy and keep the team together. So I don't know if that means Gardner goes, or I don't know how you do that. Any number is problematic in my mind based on what Marner's going to get and what Matthews is going to get. Even if you take the low number, which seems to be batted about, which is $6 million a year, that's problematic for the Toronto Maple Leafs with their players in their salary cap situation. 6.5 is more problematic. 7 is more problematic. It's pretty simple, the math. I don't see this player being here long term. I just don't.
Doug?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably going to come in at 6.5 in that range. 6.5 to 6.8 is where it probably is going to come in. And to me, then you're looking at Marner, and Nick, who's his agent, part-time agent, has got him coming in at 10. And then you've got Matthews coming in at 12. Like, seriously.
Marner plays that full
Where does this
plays
end?
the full season with John Tavares and then plays the power play with him as well. Look at a 100-point guy.
And then you're
Mitch
looking
Marner.
at, and I was saying the other day, like, look at Scheifele at, what's he at, 6?
6, yeah.
I mean,
That's going to be one of the best value contracts in the NHL.
Like,
Probably is
seriously.
right now.
But
Probably
this is
right now.
Nylander's problem. He's saying, well, just a minute, I'm going to get 6+, and Marner's going to get what in 6 months' time?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's playing around in Nylander's head. What's Marner going to get? He sees himself as Marner.